Hello and welcome to another edition of Read with Ronald. Today we are not reading one book, we are reading 6. And this video is going to serve as an introduction to what I'm about to talk about, which is the Lost Fleet series. Hi Pepper. This is Pepper. And if you hear her whining, barking, her collar jingling, it's her. There she goes. The Lost Fleet is this series about this guy named John Geary. He was a commander in the Alliance Space Navy, and this war started between the Alliance and their enemy, the Syndicates. He went to go fight at the beginning of the war. His ship got destroyed in the battle, and he ended up in an escape pod. And so he was in cryo sleep for about 100 years. He's recovered. 100 years later, the war is still going on. They went out there to go fight the Syndicates in what they was hoping to be a last stand. They severely underestimated the situation, and they are in enemy territory. He wakes up, he finds he's a captain, and he finds that he's like this mythical legend that they have patterned how the fleet fight after his example. He's like, I'm not a mythical legend though. It ends up becoming his task to lead the lost fleet of the Alliance Navy back home with the resources that he has available, and trying to disprove that he's this mythical legend that they've all created him to be. How I got into this series starts back in senior year of high school. Me and my best friend, we used to do this thing where we would like send books to each other as gifts for Christmas. So one year, the book that I planned to send her did not go to her address, it came to my address. I had to get her a replacement book. I ended up discovering years later, because I was actually looking for my receipt for Their Eyes Were Watching God to talk about in that video, and what ended up happening was I found my receipt for Dauntless, which is the first book in the Lost Fleet series. So apparently I had sent this book to her as a gift, and when I recommend books to people, it's books that I would typically also like to read. So that shows that I had some interest in the series. March of this year, 2023. I'm in the dollar store getting me some stuff, and I see this book on the book rack. To be honest, I was looking to see if they had any more God Don't Like Ugly books on the book rack, because that's how I got God Don't Play, right? I see this book on the book rack. It's this spaceship exploding. I'm like, what is this? I didn't really read the description. They had the barcode on the back labeled as mystery. I'm like, okay, it's a mystery, got an interesting cover, I'm gonna buy it. And I come home, I'm prepared to read it, and I discovered that it is not only the third book in a trilogy, but the third book in a prequel trilogy to another series. At that point, I knew I was gonna get the trilogy, but I was like, I could either start with the prequel trilogy or I can go start with the original series. And typically I like to read stuff in the order that they came out in, so I decided to start with the original series, which is this series, The Lost Fleet. Yeah, I am reading the Lost Fleet series to get to the prequel trilogy of the book that I originally bought. There's 6 books in this specific series, and so this video is gonna serve as an introduction, letting you know my thoughts on it and trying to avoid being spoilery. And then there's going to be individual videos for each book, which are going to be full of spoilers. Each book has the title of a ship in the Lost Fleet. So originally when I started the series and I noticed that, I was like, ooh, is each book going to focus like on a specific ship? But no, it's just using the names of the ship. Dauntless, I gave a 5. It was a great introduction to the series. Going into this, I was kind of nervous. It's military science fiction, and the last book we read that was related to anything military, I didn't like that book. So going into this series, I was nervous because this is military science fiction. We had another guy named Jack John. Dauntless was a great introduction to the series. It did a good job of introducing the characters, introducing the conflict. It was really well written. It was good. I couldn't put it down. So then the next book, Fearless, I gave a 4.5. It was a good follow-up. I can't remember exactly why I gave it a 4.5. I discussed it in the video, but I can't remember it for here. For the most part, I thought it was a good follow-up, and it is my favorite cover in the series. Then the third book is Courageous. Courageous, in my opinion, is the weakest book in the series. I gave it a 3.75. My main issue with it was that it kept reusing a lot of scenes verbatim from the previous 2 books, and would just basically change the name and the location. So kind of rereading the same stuff over and over again was not fun. They're still trying to get home, like there's nothing new going on. The personal drama was honestly the best part and the most enjoyable part of the book. Valiant did a good job of reeling me back into the series. I gave it a 4. And then Relentless, I gave a 5. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time with Relentless. I couldn't put it down because I was like, what's going on? So much happened in that book, and it honestly could have been the last book in the series, to be quite honest. But we get into Victorious, which I gave a 4. And Victorious's cover makes me laugh because it has absolutely nothing to do with the book. Like, the situation is depicting on the cover does not actually happen in the book. Overall, Victorious, I think, was a good wrap up to the series. It wrapped up everything pretty nicely and pretty realistically. So overall, I did enjoy the series. That's really all I have to say on the series. I just thought it was a good series. I enjoyed it. So thank you for tuning into the video. If you liked it, give it a like, a comment, and a subscribe, and be sure to check out my other content. And I'll see you next time.